What's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
How are you?
What up?
Pretty good, bro. Pretty good. Let me see. Joe instead. Okay. How you been?
What's going on?
What up?
Yo,
Hey, it's on time.
we got the whole we got the whole
Always.
got the whole
Hey, dog, I gotta bring this shit up. You see how
oh.
fucking amazing Horse MD looks?
Yo, dead ass, right?
I'm watching it right now, dog. Him and Yasha on who's the best bodybuilder or who's the best BB?
You know what's funny? Actually, let me share it.
Pull that up, bro.
You know what's funny? I feel like everybody peaks differently, man. Like 2 weeks out, I gotta be honest, he wasn't looking that good, but that's how some people are. Some people look good for the whole 8 weeks. Some people look good off season. Some people look bad 2 weeks out. As long as you peak on stage, that's all that really matters, man. You know what I'm saying?
But
He beat
but
Nathan.
It looks. Oh, he did, right?
you know what?
Yeah, that's a big
I'm
deal.
looking at that right now. But his fucking back, he's missing
No,
a lot of detail in his middle back.
his back needs a lot more width, a lot more detail. But
Detail.
that being said, yo, he got everything else, and he was about to do classic.
Wow.
You know,
It's
honestly,
fucking great.
he put on a lot of size too, bro. A lot of size. Let me share the screen real quick. Yeah. Honestly, like I didn't expect him to look that good. I thought he would be undersized, and I thought his conditioning wasn't going to be there. But hey, he pulled it together. He pulled it together.
Go to who is the best BB?
Okay. Oh, that's the other one.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, what the fuck?
Who is the best BB?
Who is the best? Okay. That's the page that be posting that bullshit sometimes, but
Yeah.
I still fuck. I still fuck with them. They still got some good content. Okay. Oh, they got videos? Oh
I got
shit.
video.
They got videos. They're not fucking around. But he looks bigger than Nathan. That's crazy. He's wider than him, right? And his legs are bigger. That's insane.
His fucking legs to the front shot are insane, bro. His sweeps, his detail, his lines. Oh my god.
But he was literally like what? He turned pro barely as a super, right? Like the 220s. And I mean, he gotta be in the 240s, 250s at least, I would think. Maybe.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yo, Milo's got them cheat codes. I'm not gonna lie. Milo's got them cheat codes. We're gonna have to get a purchase the off season program.
Five grand, brother.
Yeah, it
Five
is.
grand.
I'm gonna twist his leg a little bit.
And another 5 grand for the cycle.
I'm gonna give him some Essiclean or something. Trade off.
Yeah,
All right.
why not? They still make that? I thought it was discontinued.
Oh no, they still got it, bro. You just gotta know the right lady. There's some lady that sells it. She probably makes that shit herself, but it works.
That's a good lady.
Right there. Go back up.
Huh?
To the left, right there.
This one?
Look at that shit.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I ain't gonna lie.
Damn.
That looks pretty
You
good.
see how he puts one leg in front of the other and pushes the adductor out? It's awesome.
Bro, his legs are huge, right? Holy shit. Is it me?
Nah, they look fucking huge.
His legs are
This is
crazy.
incredible. Yeah.
That's insane. Look at the hamstring glutes. Yeah, he got the whole nine. Let's go, Cameron.
What's going on? Am I in here? Yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah, we got Cameron, gentlemen.
What's going on, Cam?
What's up, man?
What's up, Stu?
What's going on, man?
I think that's the most the upcoming coach that probably got the most buzz right now, right? Who else got good buzz? That but the Boss of Outlaw dude, he's not young, but you know.
Stephen, yeah, he's really good.
Phil Viz is one of the best in the business.
Phil is on the come up. Phil is on the come
Yeah. Fucking just spilling water everywhere.
No, but yeah, so I would say Cameron and then Boss of Outlaw. I don't really know his name.
Sebastian Alvarez is doing really well with females.
Oh, Sebastian. Okay. So yeah, we got those. But everybody talking about Cameron, man. How does it feel to be the most sought after new coach?
I mean, I guess the same, you know what I mean? Like it feels the same as when I kind of first started it still that, I think until I get to the point, and I was talking to Matt about it, obviously the ultimate goal is to win an Olympia title one day, but
Mhm.
I don't think at the end of the day, like that passion and hunger for all of it, like it never really kind of goes down or changes or feels differently per se.
Yeah.
I just try and remain myself still and stay grateful for all the opportunities because all it takes is people stop hitting you up and then,
That's true,
like
yeah.
it all goes away. So,
When
yeah, I
did you
mean,
start?
I'm definitely grateful. Huh?
When did you start coaching, like officially? Like quit your job and say, you know what? I'm about to do this full time.
2019 was my first season, and that was also, yeah, the first year that I'd stopped, working at like a gym, a GNC, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got into, so I just turned 25.
Damn.
I got into coaching when I was 19, 20-ish because I unplanned and unexpectedly had my first son and my only son that was born.
Mhm.
And so I had to pull out of college. My parents got separated when I was in high school, so some of like my tax documents didn't go through, so I lost my scholarships and had to drop out. And I grew up heavy and was overweight, so when I lost a ton of weight, I had a ton of the guys that I played ball with in high school that were like, "Yo, like, how'd you lose all that weight? It helped me." And so I kind of got into personal training for a little bit, and then I just ended up having somebody one day that was like, "Yo, I want to step on stage one day," and I was like, "Yeah, hey, me, man. Like, I can train
Wait,
you, but like,
so you didn't compete. You never competed.
I did one show in 2018."
See, I always find that interesting when I see a coach that's as good as you are, right? Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, how do you understand the intricacies and get somebody that full and big and shredded, and you never actually, well, you did it once, you said.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just comes down to not having a pride.
Yeah.
There were so many times when I was younger, and I'll still do it. Like that Boss of Outlaw guy,
Yeah.
it was a couple months ago. Like I ran into him in Italy when I was there with Blessing, and we got back home and just hit him up. Was like, "Hey, can I pick your brain on stuff?"
Yeah.
And I'll pay you for whatever time you want to value it at. Like I'd love just to pick your brain on a couple topics, and that was a lot of it. It was tough, you know what I mean? There was a lot of like almost like imposter syndrome or like, man, am I doing this right? And it probably came to me maybe like a year and a half ago where it was like, it doesn't matter if this is like supposed to be the right way to do it. Like it's the way that I'm doing it and it's getting it done, and that's
Yeah,
all that matters.
well, we're gonna take a look
Um,
at some of your clients as you talk. I know you just turned Brandon pro.
yeah.
Yeah. And he's been going at it for some time. And I never seen him put it together condition wise like he did here. That was one of Stu's former nemesis, right? Former nemesis.
Can you call someone a nemesis? You do one show with them? I mean,
No, not really.
I think it might be Brandon's nemesis more than Stu's nemesis.
Exactly. I mean, he looked good, man. I mean, he was in shape. I see gluten, and
Yeah, I
the
think
first
that
time.
I think he can hold more size as he comes down in the future. But the biggest thing with him when we started, what was he? Maybe like 7, 8 weeks out from that show that we did together. It was right after North Americans when we started together. And I ended up at about 3, 4 weeks out, started taking a look at his training because I was just like, damn, like your legs aren't filling out whenever we're feeding you or pulling you off of cardio. And he was just doing way, way too much in the gym. And so there at the tail end, I just revamped his training and pulled him back a ton. And he just started coming to life again. So I think that next time after, we have an off season and a full prep together, I think we'll be able to keep his back a whole lot fuller and harder. Same thing with his legs. And just think overall his look will have a lot more just pop and hardness to it when we come through. But I was super happy for him. It was a long time coming for him. There were a lot of people before me that had chipped in and thrown into the picture with him to get there. And, I was
well
just a
done.
small piece of it, but I was
Job
happy
well
to see
done,
it for him.
And I mean, what you did with Blessing was pretty good too, because Blessing he just wasn't pulling it together for a while there. But this is definitely the best condition I've seen him in, for sure, since the I think New York Pro a couple years ago.
Yeah, in New York and Indy, we still got to put some more size on his lower half too, and he just got an X-ray or MRI done. One of his knees are just bone on bone. There's no cartilage there, and so I know that he's just going to need a good off season of actually being productive throughout his off season too, and not just deciding one day to throw some stuff together and jump into a prep. And he's going to have a much more balanced physique.
Facts. All right, let's welcome Stu as well. Yo, what's up, Stu?
I'm back. What's up, dude? I didn't know we were doing this. You're going back and forth about, like, you know, who you're gonna have on this week. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, I
actually want to have coast was clear. So
yeah, coast is clear. Stu. But I do want to go over this as well. I could have sworn I've seen Stu on like 8 different podcasts this week.
do another media tour. I'm releasing my book soon.
Oh, that's smart.
I'm kidding. I can't write. I can't read.
I didn't even know Dennis Wolf had a podcast until I seen Stu.
That was the second episode, dude. Yeah, he's just starting it. So
that's the podcast king. All right.
I like that, Dennis, man. He takes a little loosening up because he's like an old school guy, you know?
He is.
Like, he's from like 10, 15 years ago when everyone was like, you know, they weren't just buddies talking on the internet. It was like very professional. He's German too. That doesn't help. But
all right, gentlemen. Let's take a look at this lineup. Can you guys see? Because I got my computer. I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
I can see. Yeah.
Right. So we got what appears to be Mo Fowler, even though we haven't seen him in quite some time. I think that's him all the way to the left. We got Horse MD Marcellus. We got Samson. We got Beirut. I think Beirut is one of the most underrated guys in the entire league. But I think people are going to start to take notice now. We got Nathan and we got Mr. Presti. And his legs came up quite a bit, I would have to say. Presti, from when I first seen him to now, his legs grew quite a bit.
He did the Olympia, right?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, he did. All right. So for one thing that stands out to me here is that I thought Samson would look a lot bigger than Beirut and Horse MD than he does. I do think they're standing a little bit in front of him, right? No, maybe
his arms are back.
Yeah,
his elbows are behind theirs.
So he got to make sure he gets that extra couple inches. And also Nathan, I thought Nathan would look a lot bigger in this lineup, but I think it's because he's not a big guy, even though he's muscular. But Presti looks quite a bit bigger. So does even Beirut looks bigger. So unfortunately for Nathan, he had the crazy physique, but it just didn't go his way. Let's start with Paul. Did you see the final placings and all?
I haven't. I just know Samson won.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Samson, Beirut, Horse MD, then Nathan.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, damn, that's wild. Mm-hmm. Then Mo, then Presti, right?
Yeah.
I felt like the judges got that right. What you think, Paul?
They put Nate 6.
No, Nathan was 4th.
3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, from that picture, it looks about right. Well,
yeah, I don't see anybody got any objections to that lineup.
I think Muhammad could have been higher, dude. He's put together so good, man. Well, he looked like he was in good condition too.
His legs are fucking huge too.
Oh, yeah, that last spread, bro. Look at Mo's.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah,
he's definitely jumping the line, but fair play. I mean, but like,
quite a bit.
Yeah, like he's not as tall as Samson is, bro. He's like 5'6". But I mean,
did you guys hear what Milo said?
Yeah, he wants them to make a stage so they can fall off, right? Elevate the stage so they can fall off there.
Yeah,
that's smart. I mean, that could work. You'll know who's shooting then.
No, Hardy and Dag would fall off for sure.
every time. But I mean, Mo is doing well in this lineup. I mean, in this last spread, I got him and I don't know who else is holding it. Him and Presley, maybe.
It looks like Samson's leaning back in these front shots too. Like I think he could lean his torso forward, and he's going to look a lot bigger.
I think so too.
I don't like Samson in this pose. His
Me neither.
midsection is odd to me in the middle. It
He
seems
doesn't-
like he doesn't suck it all the way in. You know?
No, he never
He
does.
needs-
Yeah. I
Yeah.
told Joe that during the Olympia.
Yeah, I feel like he leans back too far and then he sticks his stomach out. Like Andrew leans back, but Andrew's midsection is so crazy. It don't even matter.
Nathan looks pretty crazy in this shot. When I was out in Italy and saw it in person, it was pretty wicked.
There we go. We got Mr. Olympia on us, Brandon.
What's up, guys? How's it going? How's it going?
You're going pretty well, man. He got his meal. He's not playing. You could tell who's serious. He got
Full
Paul.
house.
Congratulations, Brandon.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Yes, dude.
Thanks, my
incredible,
man. Thanks, my man. I appreciate it.
Where? In Texas? You in Texas still?
So what?
Are you in Texas? All right.
No, I'm in Virginia.
Oh, were you in Texas before or no?
Nah, I'm moving to Texas.
Oh, okay.
I'll be there for nationals, but yeah, I'm planning April, May-ish time frame to move right outside of Dallas, DFW area.
Oh, so you ain't if you're moving then, you're not doing the New York then.
Well, not next year.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't see me there next year. We're gonna, like I said, we got plans for something a little later down the road.
You're gonna be at Nationals though? I'll be down there.
Yep, I'll be
Is
there.
anyone else going to Nationals?
Man,
Yeah.
Amber's
I'll
gonna
be
be
there.
there.
All right.
Got a light heavy in it.
Heavy hitter.
we in LA, so it's gonna be tough to get out there, man. I gotta be honest with you.
I've got a guy that competed in supers, I think at nationals last year. He hired me and he was, I guess, going to be a heavyweight. And I was like, bro, you either got to go to an off season or we're sucking down the classic and giving this thing a go. And he's going to try, I think he'll be able to pull down the classic and he'll just be in shape doing it. But Andrew Gilliam,
He
got
was
sixth last year at nationals as a super. He'll be a good bodybuilder when he puts more size on, but he's going to be massive in classic.
Yeah, I mean that could work, and I mean you can turn pro in classic and just add the weight, after you turn pro.
I would rather just go into an off season with him, but he was already signed up for it, so I was like, screw it, we'll just do classic.
Let's switch gears again. I keep switching gears, but I want to check out Brandon. Give Brandon his flowers.
Hey, Brandon, you finally tanned, bro. That's awesome.
Not only what?
You
Tan.
finally tanned.
Come on.
Yeah, that
You
was
still
the
got some on him, actually.
USA's last year. Yeah, hasn't been a problem since, so we're good.
That color looked good. Last
I
show.
did, yeah.
Yeah, Cameron made sure I was taken care of for that this year.
Yeah.
Did you do something different for the tan?
Just had a better base tan, and we just made sure that we had enough coats and that I was solid. So, yeah, as you can tell, it's much better than USA's last year.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question regarding tan because mine looked like shit by the time I was off stage in New York this year. What have you guys ever done that thing where you like do multiple coats over the course of multiple days leading into a show?
Yeah.
I remember seeing Ian would do he'd start on Wednesday for a Saturday show, and he just put a coat on, fucking shower, coats and because he's super pale,
Yeah.
So I've done that in the past, and that is helped. It's just tedious.
Yeah.
I used the melanotan this year, as you guys know. Many people use that, and that helped a lot. And that was just 3 weeks leading into the show, enough to get me a good base tan. I tanned a few times as well in a stand-up bed, and I tanned fast as hell with the melanotan, and it gave me a good base tan, and it wasn't an issue this year.
I'll probably just do that, honestly.
So what?
Because I get tan
I've
super
learned-
quick.
Yep, and just get some melanotan, this is going to make it even quicker.
Yeah.
I did the
What I've
nasal
learned from
easy.
the pro-tan people is, so before you put on that initial base coat, and someone that's more white, I would probably start them the night of 2 days out, but about an hour before that base coat, just take a shower and just wash yourself just with Dawn dish soap, and it'll take all the oil off your skin, and then dry off with a clean, fresh towel. And then if you're doing the base coats, you'll get one of the Pro-Tan has like their original overnight color, and then they have a super dark. Pour them both into a bowl and mix it half and half, and then do one base coat with that half and half mixture. Shower the next morning, do it again the next evening, and then top coat the morning of the show. And usually that Dawn dish soap trick usually helps everything stick. And there's stuff in that initial base coat that helps balance out the pH of your skin too.
Okay.
You can also, what I've been doing ever since I started competing is I'll use an exfoliator, like the peach scrub water for your face, and I'll shower with that for about a week, every night for about a week out. And then, like us, we do the tan prior to the tan, the day, like before we go on the hour before, when you get spray tan, use the Dawn dish soap, and you take all the oil off your body and all the dead skin. Use the Dawn dish soap; it dries you out and it sticks really well. I'm always dark whenever I do mine. So
okay.
Do you guys usually tan yourselves, or you usually get it done by the venue?
I personally get it done.
I always get it done by the host.
Yeah, I do that. It's too easy.
Me too. Yeah.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah, well, my base tan, I literally sit in the sun. I look like a white guy, but I have Hispanic blood. I actually get kind of brown.
Palacio, I could see it.
Where do you live?
Palacios.
Palacios, yeah.
He lives in LA with us gentlemen.
Oh, so you got a little more sun out there for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's why I did for
Virginia, so I
USA.
did it for half the year.
Huh?
I was real dark at USA's, and that's all I did. The base tan in the natural sunlight, and then the tan from the Tan Creations people. So not the host, but my own little tanning place I use.
I did notice that at USA's, Joe's color was perfect. Like Joe was.
That was that Tan Creations. Paul hooked me up with them. I did that for the California, but at the California, I didn't do a base tan. My pasty ass, like I went on and I was like golden. I wasn't dark, and my coat or Justin was upset that I wasn't dark enough. And we did like 3 coats, but it didn't hurt me. But it could have.
Bro, when you're that
nasty, is that dream tan that the natural leagues use?
Oh, bro,
damn,
shit.
It's just like Play-Doh.
Nasty.
Horrible.
So I used to compete in the Natural League. I was a pro in WNBF and NGA, and that's all we used was the Dream Tan.
Oh, hell
He
no.
looked like a fucking gold statue. It was ridiculous.
Like, but you know what's funny? You know who the only people that works on is like when I see those shows in India, it still looks a little weird, but like they look like gold, but it kind of works, you know. Even though if you step like that, if you step like on the NPC IFBB stage like that, that's not gonna go well.
It worked for us.
They
But
banned it,
they ended
I
up
think.
banning it even in those events because it would
Yeah.
get everywhere and it fucked everything up. So
The host hotels hate it.
It's like paint.
Yeah,
Like you paint it on.
that's
look
all
at
bad.
gold statue. I'm gonna try to find some. Oh, can you guys see this shit?
Oh my gosh.
That was me with pro.
That's gold, yeah.
They do it overseas. a
gold.
lot.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was like when I was 22, back in the day.
Sure. Yeah. Let me get your what you take your take on the Olympia, Brandon. Did you agree with the let's say top 3 or top 5?
Top 3, I did. Honestly, like Hadi looked great. Obviously, he's previous Mr. Olympia, is crazy dense muscle, but with the progress that Derek made, with the whole year of knowing he had to worry about anything, like the progress in my opinion, was what he needed to do to win. From the back, pilled, glutes were insanely dug out, structure. Yeah, Hadi's harder from the front, but in my opinion, overall, structure, flow, I had Derek winning. But I know a lot of people had, some people had Heidi, especially with finals when he hardened up. I didn't have Sanson over either of them, but I think he was a good 3rd place.
Yeah.
I didn't see Nick in there, though.
Man.
Could have been like a 3rd or 4th in there. You never know, because he was looking really good as he was leading to the show.
I think Nick would have stacked well just because you see how they both were softer on one side than the other, right? Like Derek was. You can't really say soft because let's be real, they're both hard.
One was harder than the other, yeah.
Yeah, like they kind of traded back and front. Whereas Nick gets hard everywhere, right? What Nick doesn't have is maybe the waist they have, but
he also isn't detailed. It's weird. Like he's got separation between like the big muscle groups, but he doesn't have like individual glute striations. He doesn't have lines in his shoulders, and that's something that both those guys can have like crazy, you know.
Yeah. So, well, Hadi doesn't have no lines on his side though. He only has them.
Yeah. Well.
No, but I was gonna say who you just mentioned Nick. Yeah, Nick. His waist is getting better, and I would compare him to like a Branch, as far as Branch was hard and grainy looking, but not separated, and every muscle was in detail, right? But like you don't see Nick with like cross striations in his quads and stuff like that. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, and like just I don't know. I think it's probably just a genetic thing. Some people like to say like, oh, he grew too fast or something. Like I don't know if I buy that because. There's just a lot of muscles that don't have striations and cuts and stuff, but you can tell like in person, oh, there's no body fat there. There's no water there. It's super hard. Yeah. So I don't know how much that actually hurts him.
How about fourth and fifth with Samson and Brandon? Did you have that going to Brandon for Brandon?
That one was tough. I was happy to see him get fourth because, I think a lot of people wrote him off when they heard he was in the hospital, but he looked good. He came in decently conditioned. And fifth was Hunter, yeah?
No, fifth was Andrew, actually.
Oh, that's right. Fifth was Andrew. I don't know, man. I like Andrew. Andrew has a unique physique, as what she posed a little bit differently. I think if he posed a little bit better, in my opinion, a little bit harder from the back, he would have beat Brandon. But Brandon looked good. I could have had those fourth or fifth, vice versa. But the 1 through 3, I definitely agree on. I like the 1 through 3.
You got any objections, Cameron?
No, I agree with it. I think that if Andrew would have came in a little bit leaner, he could have moved up over Brandon. And I also think that if Hunter came in like he did at Tampa, it could have made things more interesting too within that 4 through 6 spot. Yeah,
for sure.
I think that top 3 is pretty locked solid there.
I think Andrew dropped the ball because I don't think he was nearly as hard as he was in Texas. That was Texas he did. Right?
Yeah. You said it last time, like you could see it in his face. He was kind of
out of
deflated. Yeah. He usually does that salute thing, and like at finals, he went up and did the salute like he didn't even want to be there.
He probably knew. Did he do the Arnold this year?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
Arnold.
So, yeah, his body was probably
a long season.
Yeah.
Someone was at I don't know if it's the meet and greet or athletes meeting. I never been to the Olympia. I don't really know how it goes, but somebody was like that Andrew seemed way out of it, like he didn't want to be there at all.
Yeah, I don't blame him, dude. It was 11 o'clock at night.
For sure.
Yeah, also true, man. They going crazy, like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Vegas is even worse.
Yeah, facts.
Next year will be interesting.
Hey, Brandon, did they fuck up the amateur show at all, or is that pretty smooth? Like, it was just a 1 day, right?
It was just 1 day. It went super smooth. Man, I had no complaints at all. I was very impressed with how it was ran.
That's good. Was it in the same venue as Nationals last year? Like that big convention center in Orlando?
No.
It was a different spot.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because we were not in the same room.
It was a different room, yeah.
Yep, different room. But no, ran really well. Would you say that same thing, Cameron?
Yeah, that was only the second Olympia I've been to. The last one was last year. But I've always liked the shows in Orlando. One, I live in Atlanta, so we always just drive down, so it's way easier for just packing and traveling and stuff. But I don't know. I don't really like Vegas. There's too much shit going on.
I hate Vegas, man. Like
It
if
gives
this
me
would
anxiety. Like
probably
I
wouldn't have
won't
done it.
fucking leave the house. Like I'm not usually around people. You know what I mean? And it's like you got a bunch of dieted down bodybuilders. You stick them in Vegas where anybody gets lost in any casino hotel there, and just a lot going on to be focused on a bodybuilding show.
It's 115 degrees, trying to keep a tan on.
I feel like the Vegas thing is like it's there so people can party afterwards, but I don't like bodybuilders don't really want to
Don't do that
party.
shit.
There's like I don't know, maybe Phil Heath goes and does it, right? Like I couldn't imagine.
Bodybuilders don't.
But there are some crazy bodybuilders though.
Yeah, there's a few, right? But like most of them are just like, fuck this, I want to go eat.
All I want to do is I went and got a burger, and that's all I did. I chilled.
Yeah.
Give me a drink. That's all I need.
I can't drink. Like if I let loose, I'm somebody who's all in. So if I let loose, I'm gonna let way too loose. So I gotta just I gotta just stay away from it. So actually after USA's, I started drinking and stuff, right? I started drinking and eating. By that night, I was confident that if I stayed another night, I was going to kill myself. I was going to die because I was dehydrated. I was having hiccups. I couldn't sleep. I was rolling around hot. I wanted to go to the club and shit. I was like, you know what? I told my girl, I was like, you know what? Let's go home. Like right now. Let's just go. If I stay here another day, yeah. If I stay here another day, it's over for me. But yeah. So today I want to dive a little bit into coaching, right? Like when do you know if you need a coach? But most importantly, when is it the right time to leave a coach or seek a different coach for help? Because I feel like sometimes I see two different things. Either people coach hop every show or like every season, or people maybe stay too loyal to one coach, even if it's not really going where it should go, right? So let's start with Brandon first of all. So you just hooked up with Cameron not too long ago, right?
We get some water over it.
Oh, Cameron said no. He says it's getting too hot.
I can get some water.
Nah, fuck with you. No,
So after North Americans, I was with Morgan, as you guys know, and we've had 3 shows together. Morgan's a good coach, but as you guys know, the peak just wasn't there for those shows. And arguably, some of those shows I could have done a lot better in if the peak was nil. And as you guys know, Cameron, his motto or their motto is they don't miss. So saw how he handled Elias backstage in North Americans. And plus, me and Cameron have been friends for a while. We chat here and there. He's a good dude. And as you can see, his clients do the talking for him. So I saw how well he was with Elias, and I knew I needed to make a change. So that's why I made the change to Cameron and then I found out that was definitely the missing piece because everything went so much better with this peak. As you guys can see, he was my best package yet. So, but yeah, so that was main thing with that is the big change we going to Cam.
Okay, so without divulging all the Cameron secrets, or you could divulge it if you want so. What was the biggest difference you feel like took you from your previous look to this look? Like, was it more diet related, training related, fatigue management, or drugs?
A little bit of everything, but the big thing that I saw with him is there's no variables. Like he controls everything, whether it's water, sodium, everything is controlled. Where in the past it wasn't as controlled, so that was really big difference. And yeah, a little bit of changing to the training, very small critiques there that made a big change. But the big thing that I noticed was just all the variables. He's controlling everything, so there's no guesswork. And like I said, that's why he doesn't miss. When you're controlling everything, it's a lot harder to mess up a peak per se. Because we'll talk about peaking because he was just with me for 8 weeks, so he's able to learn my body in a short amount of time for us to be able to do what we just did, which was awesome. So
yeah. But I feel like for you, right? You were already getting the body fat off. It was just a matter of peaking, right? Because
and he did push me to another level for sure. Because I was 247-ish the morning of NAs.
Yeah,
I was 240 morning of Orlando. And so he just pushed me to the next level of conditioning, which I didn't know that I had, but we definitely pushed to that. And that made the big difference as well. That made the peak, in my opinion, go even better.
Yeah. And Cameron, did you automatically see him and notice that, okay, I feel like he's dropping the ball on this versus this, or it wasn't that kind of thing?
I mean, I definitely think that there was a shortcoming of what they were shooting for. But I think the biggest thing was whenever I saw Brandon at his most recent showing, the biggest thing was, okay, he's got to still keep coming down. Like, the guy's got a bone structure where he's gonna look big. You know what I mean? But there was still more that needed to keep coming off of him. And I think it was USA's last year was one of his best peaks as well. Stu was just really, really good at that show, but Brandon brought a really good package that probably, if Stu wasn't there, or if Brandon brought that same look to other shows, he could have gone pro as well. But this North Americans look this past show before we started working together, it was just, there was still more that needed to come off of him. And as he kept coming down, he had a very tricky body to kind of figure out. Like, you know, we brought his baseline carbs down to at one point 300, and that was maybe 3 or 4 weeks out, and that was the lowest they got. And he hit like his prep low 3 to 4 weeks out, and I was like, okay, this physique isn't going, like, this is going too fast, too quick. And, you know, his legs started looking a whole lot thinner. And then I had to push him back up to like 252. So it was a weird kind of fatigue management aspect that came in. And that was also around the time that I figured out that his training, he was just way overdoing it and not recovering. And yeah, it was just bringing him down, trying to just manage that fatigue enough so his body still had life to it. And then not just going over the board with feeding him prior to the show. I still think that there's areas we'll continue to improve on and can within his overall physique and the peak itself. I don't think that the lighting was the best at that show either, but you know, again, I think the biggest thing was just getting him leaner and, you know, not really caring if it wasn't his biggest showing that he's had or his fullest showing, just trying to push that dial a little bit towards the other spectrum.
You know, something that Compton told me, right? He was like, he feels like 99.9% of competitors come in too heavy. He said at least 10 pounds heavier. I mean, at least 10 pounds weight too heavy. They should drop another 10 pounds. And he said that's why guys like Hadi or Beirut or Nathan win these shows. They're just willing to drop that extra 10 pounds of weight, even if it doesn't look like there's any fat. Just that extra 5 to 10 pounds sometimes is all you need to really bring that condition.
No, you're right. This was one of those things where it's like when you think you're lean, you're not. You have another level you can always push to after that.
Exactly.
And you have to get there like at least once before it's like routine to get there. I think Brandon, like, you were all like pretty close to there last year. Like, I remember seeing you, like, your pictures going into the show. I was like, oh fuck, dude, he's gonna be in shape. And then, like, you know, with the tan and everything, like, you know, it was a pretty good look overall. But like, yeah, just like once you get yourself really peeled for the first time, it's like doing it again. And like, it's also just way easier. I'm sure Cameron will agree. If you're just in great shape, there's no fat on you. It's a lot harder to fuck up a peak than if there's like fat on you.
Absolutely. That's why
the margin for error is significantly larger.
Well, you can pick up and see where stuff is going a whole lot better. Like peaking, you know, an in-shape bodybuilder versus, you know, even like somebody in bikini. Like it's when someone's that peeled and etched out, you can see where stuff trends, even if it's just very small. Whereas you have someone that's not that in shape, it might take stuff going like 3 big steps in the wrong direction before you're able to really distinctly be like, oh shit, like, yeah, we got to pull this thing back and go that way. You know what I mean? And like a leaner body, you can just kind of handle stuff a whole lot better.
Yeah, stuff goes to the right place. It just looks better when you eat more.
Well, at that you would say
Cameron he got to feed the hell out of me because I was actually dieted down because in North Americans, I didn't eat that much leading into the show because I wasn't as lean as I needed to be. So that was a big difference too.
Like literally, the leaner you can get, the flatter you can get, the harder you can push the carbs. So technically, the leaner you can get if the bigger you'll look, because you can push the carbs that much higher without spilling over. So you end up looking a lot bigger and harder, right?
Yeah, the exception to that might be like, if you're a really big guy, try to jam a ton of food in just in a couple days before is like can fuck up your stomach maybe, but like short of that, and yeah, that's true.
Somebody's phone vibrates and then it sounds like somebody's farting. So in the comments, people keep farting.
The same thing.
I just picked that up now. I'm like, it's a phone vibrating. And it sounds like that. That's funny. But I wanted to ask,
bodybuilders, so we're bound to shit our pants.
Exactly. I wanted to ask Stu a similar question. Like, I don't know Stu's coaching history. I know you work with Blue, but when did you realize, okay, either I need a coach, I need to switch coaches, and why?
Well, so the first time I had a coach was in 2019, and I went with like a local guy up here in the Northwest, and he was pretty good. It was nothing like the level of detail and like consistent, constant attention and check-ins that I've had with Blue. But like, he kind of showed me the ropes. I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground when it came to like drugs and stuff. And he got me in pretty decent shape. And then I started with Blue at the end of 2020. So I'm coming up on 3 years with him now. And like Blue is the first guy who really got me like in shape in 21. Honestly, he probably over dieted me for that first show we did together. I think he does that with people sometimes because he just wants them conditioned, and then it gives you a lot more leeway as far as like peaking them, because like we were talking about, it's easier to peak a guy who's really in shape. And every year that we've worked together, like the peak that we've done has been slightly different, but not hugely different. Like we changed a couple of some of the foods that we used this year, but nothing huge overall. It's just like, Cameron mentioned, like, and Brandon mentioned, like the level of control that Blue has over what I'm doing, like all of those little stupid details that seem, in the off season, they would be completely irrelevant. Let's be honest. But like, a few days before a show or even weeks before a show, I'm sending pictures every single morning. I'm talking to him regularly. And then, I mean, fuck, dude, like I'll send him what he has me do the last couple of days is actually really annoying, but I'll have like, he'll have me eat a meal. I'll send him pictures an hour later, and then he'll tell me what to eat next. So I'm just like constantly like going back and forth to the kitchen and taking pictures and just, but like, that's the level of, OCD that he has. And he just does that with a lot of people.
Is it true that Blue replies back in about 2 seconds every time?
Yeah. At bizarre times of the day too. Like you message him at 2 a.m, he'll be like, "What's up, dude?" Because he doesn't sleep, man. He's weird.
Next question is this: have you ever seen Blue in person?
Yeah. So he lives in Portland, Oregon, and he is about 5'1", and so it's so funny, bro. He walks around in these like matching head to toe Jordan jumpsuits, and he has always got the hood up. And he's got like matching Jordans on his feet as well, and he never leaves his house. He just like sometimes will go to the gym to see me.
Okay, so that just relieved me, because I was about to say I don't think Blue is a real person. I think I was barely
a real person.
I was starting to think he was AI. He was a fucking artificial intelligence.
Imagine.
I'm like, how you gonna have 300 clients and reply in 2 seconds? And then I can never find stage pics with him next to anybody else. I'm like,
no, he doesn't leave the house.
I'm about to drop a documentary.
Starnes.
I'm like,
I was in the game for like a year, and I thought Shelby Starnes was a female. I had no idea until I hopped on one of his IG lives one time, and I was just like,
"You're like, what the fuck?" Because he doesn't coach guys. Like, he'll tell you, "No, I'm good. I'm not going to coach you." Like, what the fuck? Why? I only coach girls. I'm like, that's kind of strange. I don't know anybody else.
There's like one guy at a time.
He's got a niche.
Ben Pollock in like 20.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he did. Right?
Did.
Yeah.
I think he said guys don't listen. I forgot what he said. Something like that.
He has a guy he's coaching. He's one of my really good friends. So he has guys now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he'll get you straightened. It might get you too stressed, but
Anyway,
You mean he'll get you dry?
he might get you too dry. You don't want to get that. I don't want to get that dry.
hospital dry.
Hospital.
I'm just trying to come in shape. I don't got to be dry.
Yeah.
So, similar question for Joe. Who is like your? When did you decide that you need a coach? And I think you only worked at Compton, right? You haven't worked with anybody else.
Well, so I've never really known.
You
I
don't know.
worked with Casey helped me a little bit. So like the very first show I did it myself, and I didn't want to mess up the peak portion. I didn't know how to do it really. So like the last 3 weeks, Casey helped me. But after that, I got hooked up with Justin because Paul told me I need to compete. I wasn't even going to compete.
Damn.
So Paul's like, I'm going to have you work with my coach. Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Joe was like 180, and then 3 years later, he's beating all of us at the fucking. No. So yeah, I mean, I guess you don't really know anything else besides.
No, man. I mean, but Justin's very much a good fit for me though, because I'm very like basic, and Justin is from other coaches' plans I've seen with my buddies and stuff. Like they're very, very intricate, and I'm not. So I'm glad that Paul put me with Justin because I wouldn't be able to work with a lot of people. I guess you could say I wouldn't be coachable because I don't like crazy like shit.
Yeah.
Like tell me beef and rice and chicken and potatoes and that's all I got to do. Fuck yeah, like cool, like and then when it came to the supplements, like I learned a lot of that as I was being coached. I didn't know anything because I was natural for so long. So I just run stuff by Paul all the time.
Yeah.
And then I read like as I was given stuff, I would talk to Paul and Casey about it, and then I would read on my own. Right before I would take anything, so I could learn about it and understand what was being done. So, I mean, yeah, Justin's all I've ever really known.
Yeah, I'm convinced Joe could have turned pro natural. He probably would have still.
Justin told me because I showed him what I looked like on my very first show. So Justin came down for one of Paul's shows, and he told me in person after I showed him that he would have been able to turn me pro natural.
Yeah, I think so.
I guess with the right guidance. He said, with your physique the way it is, he's like, you didn't need much size. We just needed to peak you better.
Yeah.
It was turn me pro natural.
Where does he live at? Does he live in Florida or does he still live in like
Florida?
Okay.
But he moves, right? From south to north or north to south? I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, from what I know, I don't think very far, bro. Like maybe like 200 miles away from where he was. He was in Jacksonville for a while and then moved down south.
Okay. Yeah. All right. How about you, Zaid? When did you realize you needed to take that step, get a coach or switch coaches?
Since I started when I was like 23, it was 2016, and I spent the first 5 years self-coaching myself just to learn about the sport, the nutrition, the gear, supplements, all that stuff. I placed all right, but then I hired my first coach, which was Dave Palumbo. I worked with him for about a year and a half.
Great choice.
And yeah, I really looked up to him. I still do, to be honest. He has infinite amount of knowledge, this guy. And he was one of the original ones I saw on YouTube, since 2009. Yeah. And so I went forward with him, and he started coaching me for a few shows. I liked his methods and all that, but he is very short. Like, you ask him a question, he would answer with few words. His communication skills were not so good.
Very busy
but
guy.
I liked
very busy guy.
Extremely busy, dude, to a point. Imagine I had to Dave is awesome. I love Dave. Dave is great. He has a lot of knowledge. But like I said, I had to remind him of my name each time I emailed him back. So I took that personal. I was like, whoa, I'm your client. I don't need to tell you my name and what show I'm doing each time I email you. So, I think this is just because he has so many clients, at least 250 and more, at least.
Yeah.
I think it's an organizational thing more than quantity of client thing.
Yeah, it seems like to be so much. He just Like he used to tell me he would fall asleep over the laptop doing emails at nighttime. So it kind of explains his short answers. But either way, I learned a lot from him, and he did a few shows. We placed all right on a on a regional level. And then I went to Brad Rowe. He used to go to the same gym as I go to. And I honestly I approached Milos at the beginning, but like I told you, he wanted $5,000, and I didn't fucking have $5,000. I'm like, thanks, but I'll come back when I have $5,000, But then I was like, okay, Brad is incredible, and I think I have similar genetics as Brad. He's always bottom heavy, physique wise. I think what works for him would probably work for me, which is true. If I look very similar to when he was younger.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And so I went ahead and hired Brad, especially when he told me about the newbie and all that. And it was awesome, man. Since then, I've been with him, and I'm going to do the first few pro shows with him, I'm sure. And honestly, this boils down to what kind of person you are. If you are a disciplined person, honestly, I don't think you need a reliable coach, obviously, but you will get good gains from that coach if you just follow through. Most people are too impatient for a result. Like I remember Big Ramy, man. Every fucking season he has a coach. Like I would always question that. Give the guy a chance to learn what kind of person you are, what kind of body he's dealing with, and then a few years after that, you can change coaches. But if it's working, why fix it? Don't if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Right? Yeah, and maybe Brad shortly after like this year, he wants to stop coaching from what he told me. So I might have to like just move on because he wants to fucking, I don't know, for some reason he has a salty taste from bodybuilding, and he hates the fucking industry, dude. So I don't think he wants to do more coaching, and we'll see what happens next year. But that's what he told me. He's moving away from California. And I always wanted a personal coach, like somebody who can see me in person, tells me, okay, you look like this. Because I tried the online with Dave. I didn't like how nothing translates over pictures,
Yeah.
So that's a big part because he was in person. But now that he's moving away, that changes everything.
I think Brad said he wants to live in his van. Then he get a
van.
I seen that. Yeah.
Wait, you serious?
Yeah.
He bought the van. He bought the van, and he's ready to roll.
I mean, it's not like the vans you see at Venice. This van is bougie. It's a
Gucci van.
Yeah, 6 wheels.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's an awesome thing that you can do that and just go and not worry about anything. But then the people you made relationships with, your trainers, your clients, all of that, it's has to be canceled just by default. Yeah.
The way that van is looking, I mean, I wouldn't mind living in that van. They got all the bells and whistles, man. They got everything you need.
He's tall too. Like, isn't he like 6 foot?
No, he's 5'9".
He's like 5'9". Okay. You know who else told me that? I was actually on a podcast with Bradley Martin, right? And he was like, he wants to live in his van, but everybody started laughing. But I'm looking at him; he was dead serious. I don't think he's joking. And I found out his older brother lives in the van, so I don't think he's joking. I think he's tired of the industry as well too. He gives me that vibe. It's one of those things.
Well, he's tired of LA. He said, not just the industry. He's tired of the whole LA scene.
Yeah, if he leaves there, it's like that's where everything is for him. I'm not super familiar with what he does now, but I mean, that's where he's built everything: his gym, like podcasts and shit, right?
Identity.
I don't think he cares about that no more. I gotta be honest with you.
You know how he's set right now, so he can do whatever he wants.
He's set. All right. So Paul, how about you? When did you hire your first coach, and when did you know you had to switch coaches? And if you didn't switch coaches, what made you stay?
My first show I did with a local guy, and I was like 278 fat powerlifter guy, fat powerlifter look. Within 6 months, he dropped me down, over dieted me like crazy. Within 6 months, dropped me down to like 187. Got on stage at 187. Man, my days were so bad, like hazy, horrible.
100 pounds, huh?
Through my eyes, bro. It was everything was like cloudy. You know what I mean? Totally unhealthy. To lift weights, I mean, my strength went down a lot. I mean, it hurt to walk barefooted. My feet were so skinny, you know.
Yeah.
I never thought I would compete again. I thought after dealing with that shit, I'm never doing this shit again. Never doing this shit again. And I was watching one of Justin's Q&As. And I'm like, I like this fucking guy. I like his straight out, sarcastic way of being, you know. And started, you know, and I knew what he did in the past too. So fuck, you know, let me try this again. So I ended up hiring him for my second show. Put on 40 pounds of stage weight from one to the other. Damn. And I've been with him ever since, you know.
Yeah.
Just 9 shows later.
Shit, Compton. I've been following Compton. I don't know since 2015 now, maybe. That's when he started getting. I think he started getting popular. Compton, Zeke, bro. He could have been Mr. like hands down. Like he looked insane, bro.
It's weird. He didn't place as well as I thought he should have. Yeah. Given the way that he looked on his own, at least I don't think because he was so round, and bubbly, and like that didn't translate quite as well to a lineup. But man, he was so good, dude.
Boy, that Arnold when he got third behind Branch and Dexter, man. I love Branch and I love Dexter, but I gotta be honest, man. He was so much bigger than them, and his glutes were peeled. Yeah. I will say, like Dexter's midsection looked better because he didn't have any distension, but Justin's abs were a little bit washed out. But I mean, not anything worse than like you see even like Lunsford or Regan. Like everybody's abs isn't super chiseled out. But besides that, I haven't beaten both of them. I got to be honest, man. I mean,
you guys know him better. Has he ever talked to you guys about like why he like retired? Was he just sick of it? Was it a health thing or?
He actually went into it on a podcast, but it was an old podcast. That was like during COVID. And he went more into detail. Honestly, I can't fully remember, but he thought about and tried to come back a few times and he just didn't have it in him anymore, you know, but it wasn't anything that serious. He said he had I don't want to misquote, but I think I want to say something with a colon, maybe. I don't know if correct, but something like that. But it wasn't anything like astronomical. He could have came back and he thought about it. I think once you stop after competing since you were like 15, I think it's hard because he was all in. He wasn't like half in. He was so in. I think once he stopped and he was a regular human, I think just coming back was into it. I'm probably gonna have him on next week. I could ask him again.
Yeah.
He's probably tired of that question by now.
Yo, you know,
he's probably gonna be like for the 120th time, you know.
I get that though, dude. Like you can't unflip that switch once it's off.
100%. I mean,
that's the reason why Milos retired. He was never able to come back mentally. You know, he was never ever hurt yet after, you know, he was competing and he stopped one time for an off season and never made it back.
Well, Milos shit 120 shows later. I mean, I can understand that. You
know? He did all he needed to. I mean,
yeah, you know,
I did one and was done.
Exactly. So I got a couple of questions on Instagram. We're about an hour in, I think. So I think I'm gonna go to the questions. Let me hit some questions up. By Ray Holtz? What are some of the weirdest shit you've done during prep? It could be diet, it could be training, it could be lifestyle, whatever. But what's the weirdest thing you did during prep? I'm gonna start with Zay because he's the first one on my thing.
Weirdest thing, when I would get extremely hungry, I would get about 6 packets of Stevia, and I would get 6 pieces of cinnamon sugar-free gum and an ice water. And then I would chew all of that together and drink the whole thing of water right after. And it would give me it gives me such good satisfaction for about 2 hours. I'm good. You know, I only allow myself to eat. I only allowed myself to eat stevia packets. That's it.
Damn.
Nothing else. Yeah. That was the only thing I resorted to. Yeah.
You swallowed the gum?
That's a mic drop. Ain't nobody beating that one. So we might as well change
I'm going
it.
to say, I've never heard of that one.
It doesn't sound satisfying though. It doesn't sound that
I
satisfying.
didn't swallow the gum. No. I just took the taste in and then I spit it right out. Yeah.
Okay, well that's still weird as fuck, dude.
I'm gonna have to use one of my clients' ones because
Yeah.
Dude, it worked.
Shoot, Cameron. What do you got?
I had a girl earlier this year that, and like the Walden Farms 0-calorie syrup. Some people just put it in their oats, right? She would cook her oats in it. Like she wouldn't add water to her oats to cook it. She would just use the Walden Farms syrup.
That's a lot of fucking syrup.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing, I wouldn't have even known. Like her prep was moving so smooth. I was like, dude, no fucking way. Like you're actually doing that. And she was like, yeah, it just makes it tastes even better. And it's like same consist. I'm like, there's got to be something not right internally. Like this shit's gonna go really well now. Take this out. Stop doing that.
I mean, it's 0. I think it's 0 calories per serving, but that whole bottle has to have some calories in it.
I mean, whether it has calories or not, what it'll do to your GI, like
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
The chemicals and shit in that stuff, right? It's supposed to be bad.
Dude, it doesn't even taste good.
Never used
It tastes
to.
Not really.
It
It doesn't taste that good. I gotta be honest with you.
That's not true, bro. At 2 weeks out, everything tastes good.
No,
I
Hey,
would
the
literally
farms-
drink mustard, no problem.
Bo, I would get the what's this thing? Muscle egg? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would get the flavored egg whites, like let's say strawberry flavored, and I would just cook it on a pan, regular eggs, and I would call it pancakes, basically. And I'm just eating flavored eggs, and it tasted like eggs with artificial flavor. That's all it tasted like. But at the time, it was doing something for me, man. It was helping me get through it.
That's funny. I did that shit this past prep. So I would do my egg whites with super protein,
Yeah,
put some sugar-free syrup on it.
Fuck it.
Wow.
I would just take sugar-free syrup straight to the dome sometimes. Like, you know, you get up to pee a ton during prep, like close to the end. So, like, I would have a bottle of Miss Buttersworth sugar-free syrup in the cabinet, and I'd like get out of bed, go piss, take a little swig of syrup, and go back to bed. And it was, and like, you know, I was like, oh, it's just a little bit, and it started fucking up my stomach, and then like in the course of like 3 or 4 days, like the bottle was gone. I was like, oh fuck, dude, that was
how many servings this thing got again?
How about you, Joe? You got any weird quirks?
I put kind of like everybody else. I put sugar-free syrup on like fucking everything, like from my oats to my chicken to my beef, like whatever the fuck I put it on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would slushy everything. So like in between my liquids, so like I would have water, and then I would have BCAAs, and I'll put it in the freezer for like an hour and a half. And it'd be just enough to make it a slushy. And so I would eat that after every meal. And then my pre-workout, I would be so hungry. I would literally eat and be starving still. And on my way to the gym, I would eat my pre-workout like it was slushy. And then as far as like an action though, like the weirdest thing I ever fucking did, keep in mind, like, you know, the California and USA's are in the summer. So I've only done summer shows pretty much. And then for the California though, that was the first time I ever got peeled, like actually peeled, like using like everything. Because when you're natural, like you can't get as lean, I don't think. So, you know, you're taking like your estrogen killers and everything. So I felt so depressed, like so fucking depressed. And I remember I was driving to the gym. I was like 4 weeks out. My death face was fully in and everything. And I started crying and shit. I'm like, fuck, man, I fucking hate life. I was like, this is fucked up. And then I was like, I don't even want to do this shit. But keep in mind, everybody's like, damn, Joe, you're looking fucking great. You're going to take the whole fucking show. I'm like, fuck. And I'm possibly going to win. I can't fucking quit. So I swear to God, I was like, how the fuck can I feel better? And I was like, man, when was I the most happiest? So I started playing fucking Christmas music before every gym session. I shit you not.
Damn.
You went deep.
Ask Paul. I told him, I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. I'm so fucked up on playing Christmas music.
Damn. Yeah, no.
That was the weirdest shit I did.
I feel like some of these preps that last 6 weeks, that shit can get dark, man. I gotta be honest with you, that shit can get crazy.
Yeah.
The music thing is actually, I mean, I do that. I go back to music that I listened to in high school that's just nostalgic. Get a couple of endorphins from that. So in like last few weeks of prep, I'm listening to shit I was listening to in high school, just going back in time. Like, so
Taylor Swift, Red.
Taylor Swift.
Fuck yeah.
One
I'm a little younger
prep
than
I
you guys. So
the one prep I did do, because I just hired some local people around here, and looking back, it was shit show of a prep. But I pulled down 64 pounds in 26 weeks.
Damn.
And I had like no muscle on me at that point. Because I'm 6'1", I think I was like 165. I was peeled as fuck. Ooh. But what he had me doing was after my final meal of the day, because we live in Georgia and my show was in July, so it was hot. He had me put on all sweats. After my final meal, I had to go find a hill, and I had to do interval hill sprints after my last meal. And so I would just come home. I bought blackout curtains. I would just take like 3 or 4 Benadryl at 7 p.m. and would just try and sleep after I'd run those hill sprints, because I would just be starving. It was brutal.
I thought I was fucked up until I'm hearing you guys talk. It's crazy.
I was running like 120 T3, 120 clean. I was 19. I had no idea. And
was it Shelby?
No, it was just somebody local.
I was like, Shelby.
It was somebody local, and I had no idea. And he told me, like, so starting at 16 weeks out that I went on this cycle, he was like, "Oh, you have to pin every single day." And so
old school. That man's old school. 120 T3 daily pins.
It was brutal.
That's how you do it back then.
Let's see if I can find.
How was your rebound after that?
Bro, it was bad. It was terrible. I grew up a fat kid too, so I didn't know. Like, I literally had a box of stuff. I had a box of stuff that, like, if they came out with a limited edition flavor or something, I'd go find it. Like, I would just get hungry and just go to the grocery store and just walk around and just be looking at stuff. But I had no idea. Like, nobody prepared me. There was no bodybuilding in the town that I grew up in, so I wasn't exposed to any of it. On social media, I hadn't really gotten into the whole industry or anything like that. So I had no idea. I think I was up like 40 within like the first 5-6 weeks post show, if not less. But on me, on my body at the time, I didn't have a ton of muscle. So like putting on 40 pounds was not a good look at all.
That's a quarter of your weight if you're $160 on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to be honest. Like my first coach was John Reagan. And anybody who's familiar with his work,
yeah, maybe.
I don't even have to go deep in that, but part of me likes that old school shit. But the man was like 80. Like, think about it. Back in his days, they don't tell him what the fuck they was doing to get in shape. Let me see.
That's almost 19.
He got some. I mean, for 6'1", bro.
Yeah,
you can.
Those are good legs.
Those are good legs.
That was me in the side try.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
You look pretty good, dude.
Yeah.
So I wasn't
you gotta bring it back. You gotta bring it back.
Yeah, you gotta bring it back.
Bigger and better.
I got into it because I didn't have anything like going for me at that time in life. So it kind of gave me some purpose. And then when I got into coaching and stuff, I was just like, one, I definitely see people that I coach that I'm like, fucking haven't been doing shit for 6 months and look like that. Like, 2 years ago, balls to the wall, probably still wouldn't look like that. And I just realized it just wasn't. I know what it takes to go into the sport, and I, can drop my pride enough to say, like, I don't love it to that extent like I do coaching people. Yeah. And I just can't immerse myself the way that I know somebody should if they really want to be the best they can be.
Yo, do some of y'all feel old when somebody shows you like their first show and they had classic trunks on? Like, There was no classic when I started competing. So every time somebody like Stu, like I'll see Stu, I'll be like, "Oh, your first show they had classic." I'm like, there was no classic when I did my first show.
2017, yeah, that was like the first or second year they had it, bro. They still
I
had
think
the
it's
short,
older, yeah.
like the longer classic trunks. You know, they actually covered some shit. Instead of the ones they got now.
I think classic actually did come out like in the pro ranks. Maybe no, it probably just came out when I competed, but no, I don't even think anybody knew what it was at the time because in 2015. I don't remember there being a classic. If there was, I don't think anybody knew about it.
I think it was 2016 was the first year.
Oh, then that makes sense. Yeah, because that wasn't even out. Because realistically, I mean, I probably would have been classic if I was like, I don't know, like.
Didn't Danny Hester win it?
Yep. Yeah.
He did win.
It's fucking crazy how many cards they've given out in that class now. Like, I get like giving out cards for like top 2 at junior shows, like the junior national kind of shows in the first couple of years to fill up the division, but like, dude, like tone it back a bit. Yeah,
they should do like how they do the amateur Olympia in North Americans with bodybuilding of like, you know, if there's 6 classes, it's the top 3, or if it's 4 classes, it's the top 2 in the overall. And do it that way. Because I agree.
There's too many. Did you answer the question, Stu, about the weirdest thing you did?
Well, yeah, I was just like going to the cabinet and getting my syrup, but I was going to ask you, dude, you had to like hammer like AIs at the end, right? This year. Like I've ramped them up and it definitely helps the look a lot, but like when I've really ramped up like a Remidex before, it fucking kills me. I can't imagine how you felt. Like I can't even get off the couch.
Physically or mentally.
Yeah, both.
That's what I was talking about. That's where Chris was along.
Bro, this last, granted, I self-coached this last, you would say, right? I did, I got some, I got some advice from some people who are known for coming in super hard. So I'm going to listen, you know. So I did 2 milligrams of Adex a day, Remidex, Nastrazole. I did, Letro comes 2.5, right?
Yeah.
I did.
So you were doing 5, right?
I did 5 milligrams of letrozole. So all in conjunction. I did
all that together.
All that together.
I did. How much Novadex?
I did 40 milligrams Novadex, and then for good measure, even had the exemestane, which is the. Yeah, I did that. I think that comes 50. I want to say, how did that come?
25s usually.
So I did 50 of that.
This is a day.
Huh?
This was a day?
About 2 weeks.
And I'm sure you pulled injectables too, right?
Every single day, huh?
And I'm sure you pulled injectables a week out too, right?
I pulled everything a week out. Even
so that's even less.
Beside Halo and Proviron.
So how'd you even walk around, bro? Fuck.
If I'm being honest, I'm kind of used to it at this point because most of my prep is almost 0 carbs. And most of my prep, I have to drop all these compounds. I always have to take a lot of AIs. So I'm so used to feeling shitty that literally one time I left my house, I left my phone, and I couldn't go back for my phone. So I just winged it. I just was winging it outside. I had no idea who's trying to reach me. But it gets to that point. That's why I always say, like, even though it's hard for me to get in shape, I appreciate it because I see people complain about, I'll be at the gym, I'll see competitors, oh my God, I did 15 minutes of cardio, bro, I can't fucking breathe. And I'm like, bro, I'm doing 3 hours of cardio on less calories than a bikini girl. Like, you can't tell me shit. And I'm still fucking lifting more weight in the whole gym. Not that weight is everything, but at that point, it's just how bad do you want it? That's how I think about it. I could do it or I could cry about it. Either way, I'm not going to win nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, but once you get to that point and you hear people talking about, oh, I can't wait to have ice cream. And you're like, bro, if you're thinking about ice cream 2 weeks out, you ain't winning shit because you're going to have people that the only thing I'm craving is a fucking gold medal. So that's not even going to, you'll never beat me if you're thinking about ice cream 2 weeks out, you know, at this point. So if you have that frame of thought, once you have everything you need physically, you're going to win every time because mentally nobody could break you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. But did everybody go? Everybody go for the.
So yeah,
I don't think I went. I feel like every prep it changes a little bit. One prep I wanted to burn everything, right? So I would cook my salmon and I will burn it to the crisp. It will be completely black, right? Same like for my chicken. I would like what do you call it? When you like sear it, I guess. Where I like both sides. I would like put it on a pan on like high and just like completely burn the skin, and then put it like in the oven for like 350 for like 10. Basically, everything would be completely burnt, right? That was like one prep. Another prep I did. I went crazy on diet soda, so I was drinking it like water, literally. I was drinking about a gallon every meal. I would have like the 3 liter, 3 liter next to me, and I would just drink the whole thing. You know, that show I didn't look too hard that show, so you probably shouldn't do that.
But dude, I abuse the fuck out of Crystal Light at the end of prep. I'll be drinking like a gallon and a half, 2 gallons of that a day.
You might be able to get away with that more than diet soda, though.
I think you can because it doesn't fuck up your stomach as bad. It's different sweeteners, or I don't know.
Yeah,
Blue doesn't let me drink diet soda, but he lets me do Crystal Light. So I've just used that a lot.
The lemonade one, huh?
You name it. I've run the gambit.
Yeah, that lemonade one is fire on prep.
No, it is. What's the weirdest thing? Okay, not this last prep, but like the prep before this prep. I was too tired to like, not even physically, but like mentally tired. I couldn't wash the dishes, right? So I started using the same plates. I kept reusing the same shit.
You didn't just get like paper plates?
No, I couldn't even think that far, bro. And then it got so bad that my girl was like, how long have you been using that bowl over there? I said, I don't know, maybe a week. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And I looked around, I was like, shit, I've been using the same forks and spoons. That's so disgusting, bro. Like I probably could have got sick doing that shit. But at that point I couldn't function.
I've seen athletes carry around and use like like JT, one of my classic guys, he has this bowl that doesn't have any, it's like completely smooth. There's no like ridges. So he's like, nothing gets stuck in any corners. And
yeah.
I've seen some girls use like baby utensils, and like I'm peeking that they're just like using that same little baby ass spoon the whole time.
I do that sometimes.
Oh, you do?
That's torture, man. That's very torture. I don't like it.
That's I think girls like using small spoons on purpose. I tried it, it didn't do anything for me. Maybe like with some oatmeal or something like that, but for the most part, it didn't do no tricks for me. Let me do another question.
Hey, Beatty, this is a good tip for you. Put your oatmeal in the air fryer. It becomes really crispy.
Oh, okay.
You'll burn the shit out of it.
Yeah, you like that shit.
crispy oatmeal. Any tips for preventing going hypo while dieting? You're a guy that ever go hypo while dieting? I don't really go hypo dieting.
I'll sometimes have people that usually it's almost like those individuals are just prone to it, or it might be during training or after training or after doing cardio. And I think some of them just need to sit down and chill the fuck out and they'll be fine. But I have some other individuals where I've had to either increase their fats with that meal and pull it from somewhere else, or change the type of carbs that they're eating, or if it's, they're having like whey and cream of rice, moving them to a whole food source that just kind of slows that gastric emptying and everything being broken down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time in prep,
a female that asked.
Huh?
Is it a guy or a female that asked the question?
That's for you, Cameron.
Me?
No, who cast you the question, Beatty?
Was
this male or female?
Which question am I? I think it's a guy. The name is Quick 218.
Gotcha. I see that a lot more females than I do males because they get that shit just regularly.
Yeah,
my girlfriend's blood sugar crashes a lot, even in the off season. Like right now, she was fucking dying in prep. Like her blood sugar would just be through the floor when she was doing cardio. I personally never have blood sugar issues when I'm dieting. It's only like in the off season when and it's not even because of like insulin that I'm using either. It's like usually like if I have my shake after my training session, which is just like, honey and whey or like dextrose and whey, that insulin spike you get naturally will like clear it really fast, and then it'll bring it up, and what's it called? Reactive hypoglycemia. And
I was just talking about that.
Back down lower.
That's why I'm always fucked up after we train. Same shit.
Wait,
I'm like, what the fuck happened? I'm like on cloud 9 and my adrenaline's high, and then I do this shit, and I'll go home like, fuck, dog. I don't know why the fuck I always feel like this.
What's that good?
Like gastric empty being super slow or being super quick. Like you're talking about honey, the cluster dextrin, like that shit just.
Well, cluster dextrin, I don't notice it with. Like if I have my Intra-Shake, which has cluster dextrin in it, it's not. It has a more gradual kind of insulin response, and your blood sugar is more stable. But like sugar, just straight dextrose or whatever, it's like dextrose. So I just got to eat in time, and it's no problem really. But sometimes I don't. Like catches me.
Yeah, I think I feel like I talked about that on a podcast, something like that. That post workout, I was feeling a little lightheaded. Like I said, no insulin or anything like that. And I took my blood sugar. I checked my blood sugar and it was at 51, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But I had a shake with I think it was either dextrose or some shit, some carb source that I had lying around, and then my blood sugar just dropped like maybe like an hour, 2 hours after that, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So that makes sense. That's actually a good explanation.
Where I've seen it crazy is with peaking people. If somebody's like either depleting hard or they got to pull down to make weight, and we haven't had carbs in, and you hit them with a meal that digests super quick and it's a good bit of carbs. I've seen people go reactive hypo bad from that. I know a coach that he had a girl that he was peaking, and he gave her like her first big carb meal that she had, went reactive hypo, passed out, hit her head on the curb, and
died.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
I know she went into a coma.
Damn. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, jeez.
Holy shit. Damn.
Unfortunately, there's a girl at my gym. The same thing happened to her. Her peak week, she went home by herself. That's why I don't like people being alone during peak week. Had a blood sugar incident, fell, hit her head, and she went to a coma.
Holy shit. Is this a thing? This happens? I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
I had a guy that had to pull over on the side of the road because I had just fed him a meal after doing something like that, and he felt like he was going to pass out, dumping sweat everywhere. Just was soaking wet by the time he got to my hotel room. And so you got to be careful.
Holy shit. I didn't even know this was a thing, man. I got to be honest with you. That's crazy.
Yeah, people assume that, like, oh, you must be using insulin or something for that to happen. Like, no, you're just doing wild shit with your diet. And, like, I guess that can happen.
Yeah, that's insane. All right.
I only went hypo when I did cardio over 60 minutes and on the stairs. Like when I surpassed 1 hour on the stairs, I start going hypo during prep. But if I'm not doing that, I never go hypo.
59 minutes max.
I don't ever feel hypo on prep, man. I gotta be honest. I get lightheaded, but not hypo. Like if
blood sugar is probably like below 60 the entire last 6 weeks, dude. It's like
it's pretty bad. But one time I collapsed, but I don't think it was like a foggy kind of collapse. I think my legs physically gave out. It's hard to say because when you collapse, you don't know what the fuck just happened. But I think my legs just didn't have the strength to carry my body. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do? All right. During your cruising phase, do you guys still run GH, insulin, peptides, etc., or do you just stick to one compound as in tests? We could start with let's start with Brandon. Let's mix it up.
So my last cruise,
or just in general, for your cruises.
Usually it's just
tell him what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. But in the past, it's usually just been tests at a lower dose of GH. Well, say if I was running 8 or 9, I've been running 4 IUs, and then I also have a TRT dose of tests. No insulin during the cruise or anything like that.
What do you consider a TRT dose of tests?
250.
Okay.
You consider a TRT dose?
For me, like 500, 600 stuff. No, No,
T
for
for
me,
trend.
honestly, I just do 1 ml. So sometimes that could be 200, 250, or 300. So it depends on what I'm taking, where I'm getting my stuff.
Your sources, yeah.
Yeah, whatever, that UGL they like to push it with 300, but it's probably still 200, 250 anyways.
Yeah, I don't like it when it says 300. I like it when it says 250.
Yeah, man.
Easier math.
That's
Let's scramble it up, but we gonna jump over to Paul.
Same thing, bro. About 200, 250, probably about 2, 3 I use. Nothing too crazy.
No insulin.
No insulin. No peptides.
No. Okay. No. You don't do the MK677,
Nah.
Hemarelin, Hiptomarelin. Okay.
Shit.
I'm okay with having songs on the podcast.
Why don't you just burn your money?
do you guys do HCG?
I'll do that. I'll do some of that.
See, I do that sometimes. I after my cycle, I take a look at my balls and see how they're looking. If they're,
I'm not trying to have kids anytime soon, so I don't.
You see, but me neither. But in the back of my head, I'm like, let me just keep them active in case I just wake up one day.
I'll tell somebody to go to a fertility clinic. I'm like, I'm here to coach bodybuilders, not make babies. You have to go to a professional for this.
To be honest, I usually maybe like 2 weeks after my cycle, I won't do Clomid or Novadex, but I'll do HCG just to get things in action again in case I change my mind, and then and I do for like 20 days, 10 days, 20 days, something like that. But this time I didn't do it because I felt great. My balls were hanging at like a decent level. I don't need anything crazy.
Take pictures for us next time.
Just some aesthetic. It got to be aesthetic. It can't be Skittles. But that's it for me. It don't. I don't. I mean, you don't gotta have big balls, but you don't want it to look suspicious. Like you don't want it to be like.
Hey man, I'm cool with my raisins.
You want to be married. I don't even get
committed. Yeah,
nobody cares about that
methods.
I mean,
nobody cares about the.
If you've been with your girl for a long time, you're not gonna care. But maybe if you're on the scene, you might be a little more self-conscious about it. I can see that because all of a sudden, this girl hasn't been with anybody with gear. Where the hell's your balls? Like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but I feel like if you switch it up, yeah, you got to do something because somebody's gonna notice it. Yeah. I mean, like my girl doesn't. She doesn't. She's never said anything about it. So I don't think she. I might ask her just to see. I'm like, hey, you ever noticed that my balls different? I'm like, well,
yeah, please report back.
Yeah, because he's. I don't think girls care, but I mean, if there's a huge indiscrepancy, right, or discrepancy, I don't know. If we talking about Skittles or like a fucking, I don't know, like a bell pepper or some shit, that don't look good, man. That's gonna throw some things.
Some people, it could work in their favor.
Yeah,
balance things out a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Zay? Do you like to get crazy with the cruises, or you keep it cruising?
Honestly, dude, I don't cruise. It's either on cycle or we're off. Yeah, to be honest, because I hate pinning, bro. I really do, and it's fucking misery for me. But I do it because we need to do that, right? But when I'm not prepping, like I don't think I ever did a cycle during an off season. I never really had an off season, but between shows, I'm not taking drugs. Only 4 months out, I start taking a lot of fucking shit, and then after the show, we tapered down on test, and I still never used insulin before, so I can't. I never used that. Peptides I haven't used either, but we go down on test, and then we're off, which is where I'm at right now. We're off until February, and then in February I'm gonna start my first cycle in the off season while I'm eating fucking surplus of calories.
Oh wait,
that's why I decided I'm not a bodybuilder. People like him.
Wait, okay, but one thing we do got to preface the fact that Zay doesn't do one show a year. He does several shows a year. So this year when I did the Cal and USA, I had too long of a break to just keep blasting, but I didn't have enough time to cruise. So I did come completely off. But it was only 3-4 weeks. So for me, I didn't feel any different, right? Because it's 3-4 weeks, right? You're gonna feel the same. But I just felt like I could recover a little bit rather than blasting for fucking 29 weeks straight, right? So in my head, I'm like, it made sense. So Zay competes more often, so it makes more sense for him to come off. So he doesn't have 8 to 12 weeks to be cruising, right? But I will say now I think you already kind of said it. But now that you're having an extended off season, you're gonna get on a cycle though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna
you're still not
start
cruising.
fucking with a lot of other stuff I never did. Like I've never done IGF or high dose GH or insulin. I never use any of those. So I'm excited to start fucking with those, but in a small dose to see how my body reacts, Yeah.
Well, also to preface that, you couldn't because you got to make light heavyweight class because
you're
heavyweight.
Yeah.
Okay. But okay, another question. So even though now you're gonna do off-season cycle, how long are you gonna be off?
And from basically, I took off, tapered down a month after USA's, right, which is September, and we're off until February.
Okay.
And February will start because I have a trip planned out to Dubai in January. Once I come back, I can be home. I can be eating on time and just build that bubble again for myself, And then the full 2024 is full off season. We're not competing at all. So I'm going to stretch that out until I cap out. And then probably we'll do a small little cut to resensitize and then push back up and compete in November of 2025.
Are you blasting HCG? I'm just interested because I don't think I've ever heard anybody do that besides like the 90s guys. They're coming off.
Yeah, I just started taking HCG for the first time ever, starting last 2 weeks. This is my third week on it. It's pretty good, but I can't tell you a good full feedback.
Yeah.
But I just started taking it just because for some reason my coach Brad told me what you just said. You got to keep your nuts working. It's better.
Just in case.
Yeah, he told me to take Clomid, which I didn't want to because the last thing I want is a fucking kid, And so I'm staying away to have a longer pro career. Okay. If you want to have a pro career and you want to spend some money, man, on yourself, makes no fucking logical reason to have a kid right now. Yeah. So HCG for 4 weeks, no Clomid, and then we're good to go February 1st.
Did you ever get your blood work while you're off? Is your test low or is your test hanging in there? Okay.
I did that last time I was completely off. My test was like 150, dude. It was very low.
All the way off, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I felt it the most with my recovery. It's just that recovery sucked for me, but everything else is kind of normal because, dude, honestly, every day I wake up, I feel very privileged to be a bodybuilder. And I'm a very young bodybuilder, so I have at least 12 years I see myself competing. And no matter what happens chemically in my body, I'm in a stable mood. For some reason, people think I'm the nicest person. Well, I'm on prep. I could be a week out. We can be cracking jokes, no problem. It's just it comes from gratitude, to be honest. And I feel tired. I feel sleepy. I feel my sex drive a little bit lower. But I'm not like struggling to have a good day, if that makes sense.
Now it makes sense, huh?
So where are you from?
I'm from Syria.
When did you move here?
2011. I was 19.
I've seen a lot of that same attitude from international athletes.
Cameron is like, there's no way anybody American is that grateful.
Remember,
I'm just saying what I see.
Remember,
it's our civic duty to complain.
No, but you know what's funny? Now it makes sense why Zayd is so grateful, because one time I came off a cycle for a year. I had taken a break from bodybuilding, and bro, like when it was out of my system, I felt so. This sounds crazy. I felt so peaceful, bro. So happy. I'm looking at the fucking trees outside. I'm like, wow, it's so beautiful. I'm looking at the sunset. I'm like, is this like how I'm supposed to feel? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's weird. But I think when your test like goes down like that, you feel like relaxed, bro. It's a weird feeling. I felt almost too grateful, too positive. I was like, I need some more toxicity in my life. I have to get back on. But yeah, but
that's how I feel when the AIs come out. I have some emotions now. I have some feelings.
it's crazy. It's crazy. I forgot the original question. Oh, I think
Cruise.
Okay, yeah. So we got Brandon. Let's go, Joe.
That's pretty much the same as everybody else. I'm on my TRT is usually 200 to 250, and then I do like 2 IUs GH. That's it.
Just 2 IUs, Joe?
Just 2.
How many days a week is that?
Every day.
14 days a week or 7 days?
I do 2 IUs in the morning, and then that's it.
Okay. At night, you don't sleepwalk to the freezer to get some more GH.
I go get my slushy.
It's you, baby.
My GH slushy.
I gotta double check, bro. Joe, you getting too big over there, man. I gotta double check. No insulin, no goodies like that.
No, I tell Paul my insulin's my honey.
Okay. None of that.
My post workout.
All right. So who's left? Did we go?
Me.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, what the fuck are you laughing at?
What's your GH? What's your GH looking like on your cruise, Stu?
You know what they call me, man.
Yeah,
and I used to.
Yeah, I dude, if I can help it, if my blood sugar's fine, like I never drop the growth hormone dose down. I'll keep Blue keeps insulin in as well if I'm, in decent body composition, and just like if I'm doing it like every day, he'll usually drop down to like 2 or 3 days a week, like on weak body part days, just to help a little bit there. But I mean, yeah, like other anabolics though, peptide, I don't do any peptides. It's fucking stupid. And 250 tests. But like typically, like nowadays, usually my cruises are like 5 to 6 weeks. Just because like I'm taking enough meds now and like supplements to help with like my blood work and keep it pretty decent throughout the whole blast, that like when I come off, there's like, okay, there's some things that need to be addressed here, but I'm not like way the fuck out of range. So it comes back pretty quick.
You guys usually pull labs towards like the end of that cycle or right after finishing it?
Usually like a couple days or like a week after, because that'll be you still have drugs in your system, and it's probably as bad as it's going to look. Because like dude, if you're like cruising for 6 weeks and then you get your labs drawn, it's like, yeah, it better look good by then. Jesus, like
as if it doesn't. I started doing it, and I like it a whole lot too, because one, you've got some people that's health and genetics, or maybe they're just not in a point where they're running a lot of drugs yet in their career. You look at their labs at the end and be like, like probably how it should look towards the end of the cycle, but also not too terrible. And you can either extend the cycle out, or that's how sometimes I'll be like, okay, this is probably going to be like a 6, 7, 8 week long cruise versus a 10 or 12. And it gives some insight too for some of the things you might need to dive into that might be a little out of the norm, aside from like liver or kidney or blood count stuff. It could be thyroid or stress related, whatever it may be.
Yeah. So far, Stu got the beefiest cruising cycle. And Zaid has by far the least cruise, the lowest.
I can't believe Zaid hasn't done an off-season cycle.
He's like a half-time bodybuilder.
Well, Zaid can't have off-season, bro. Zaid is fucking 5'9", 270, and he competes at the light heavyweight. He can't have
my girlfriend made me sign a contract to not compete in 2024 to hold me accountable. She said, like, you have to sign some papers. You can't compete this next year. Like it must be official.
For her. Yeah. You did that for her, like her contract for your girlfriend not to compete in 24?
Yeah. Because it was 8 years in a row. And I never really had an off season. Literally, dude. I never really had at least like more than 3 months to not prep, just eat in surplus. So it's very exciting. And I know force feeding is a lot worse than being hungry. So I'm mentally preparing for that, I already bought the blender, so I know I'm gonna have to blend some shit up. So I already have a good blender.
Zayd was 198 Thursday for check-ins, and by Saturday he was 278. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's the light heavyweight. I'm like, bro,
278.
So okay, so who's left? Did we go, Paul? Did you talk about your cruise?
Yeah, I did.
Who's left? Who else is? Cameron, are you cruising right now? You on TRT, Cameron? What you doing?
Yeah, I just stay on TRT.
Okay.
Cam's on like 12 units of growth though.
I got up to 10. The last cycle that I did run, I ran 10 because I wanted to see what it was like of Serostems, and
there we go.
It was pretty nutty too.
Seriously? Holy shit!
Yes, 10 hours a day of Seros.
That's like $700 a week.
Damn.
It was pricey, but too, I needed to experience what it was like, because I'm gonna have people coming and be like, "Oh, why can't we just run 10 or whatever it is?" And I want to be able to sit here and be like, "Oh, bro, it's not fucking like anything." But no, when you go from like 6, what I feel like was a big noticeable thing was from 6 to 8 was that I felt like that was a much more noticeable jump than like 4 to 6. 8 to 10, I mean, I couldn't tell as much of a difference. Like you just marginally notice you get fuller and fluid retention's higher. But I think 8 was like the sweet spot where I liked the most.
Yeah. I like man, 10. I like how 10 feels, but my hands get so numb. It's kind of ridiculous. And I get like kind of sleepy. But 10 does.
Generic or is that pharma?
Huh?
Is that generic or is that pharma?
That's it's farm grade technically, but I don't know what you would consider it. It's Q-tropin. I don't know if anybody knows Q-tropin.
No,
I've heard of them, but
supposedly it's not coming from. I gotta be honest.
It's not coming from like a proper medical like manufacturing company. I think you could probably safely call it a generic.
Yeah, I usually just say your Serostems or generics.
Yeah.
I mean, we have an elitist over here. Okay,
it felt.
No,
I got to be honest. Like it felt. I've done Seros and I've done Q-tropins, and it felt the same. I got to be honest. It felt the same for me. I don't know what that means, but I didn't notice a big difference. Some people go crazy. Some people take Seros and they doing backflips. And, oh my God, it's the best thing in the world. It kind of felt the same to me,
Where I noticed the difference with people is in contest preps. I use generics too for a long time. I think they're great. I noticed a little bit more fluid retention with at least the generics that I used. Really, that's just what I kind of remember from it. I remembered I would hold a little bit more water on the generics, but also I'd be a little bit fuller. When I was running 8 or 10 with the Seros, I think it would have been very negligent between the fullness of that and generic. Like you're going to be full as fuck no matter what you're taking, if it's 10 IUs or something. You know what I mean?
The pumps, man, insane. The pumps, you get insane.
Yeah.
I really noticed the difference when I switched to Serostem, dude. It fucking made me have a whole different look. And even my trainers, they said, "What the fuck happened?" I was like, literally nothing happened, just switching over to
it's Serostem. Just a little bit of like a cleaner look, I feel like. And I've noticed with some individuals running generics during contest prep, like if I have somebody just weirdly stall out, I've seen people stall out with generics and we either have to cut their dose in half or we'll pull it. And obviously you'll see that initial kind of drop in fluid retention and establishing a new baseline, but then things continue to keep moving. So I don't know if it has something to do with whatever generics they're using impacting blood sugar and causing issues with fat loss. From a spike in blood sugar. I don't know, but
yeah. So I think I'm the only one who didn't go yet. So for my cruise, I've tried everything. Honestly, I've tried every kind of cruise. I've tried 150. I've tried 250. I've tried 300. I've done. I've come completely off a few times. Sometimes I mix it. Sometimes I'll taper down, then come off for a couple weeks, then get on TRT. Honestly, it's just how I feel because I'm self-coached, so I kind of just do my own thing sometimes to try to see what I feel the best on. What I do feel the best on, personally, is about 250 test and GH, anywhere from 2 to 6 IUs. I've tried 10 I use, and honestly, I feel like I'm still on cycle, which is great. I feel I don't lose any weight. I feel the same. I'm just same strength, almost same look. But part of my brain is like, I just feel like I should just give it a break, just because I subconsciously I just feel like I should just give it a break. I don't know if there's any benefits to giving yourself a break from from higher amounts of GH, but I just feel like
save money.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. There's definitely saves a lot of money, but part of me just wants to just do it, just because I know that once I push it back up, I kind of just go right back up another 5 to 8 pounds. So even if I don't stay on it, once I get back on, I kind of feel like I get right back to the gain. So I don't mind getting off of it, So that's what I do.
What I'll do with athletes is, I guess, because it's going to be different on the individual. But let's just say this is somebody in the middle of an off season. They've been using insulin, we push growth hormone, 6, 8 IUs a day. Typically, what I'll do is I'll pull them down initially to just test at either 150 or 200. And then when I'm using insulin with people, it's either I'll use 2 different types, either Lantus or Novolin N. And that's usually just if their fasting blood sugar is just routinely high from how much food they're eating or just stress at the time, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So I'll have that in, and then usually I'll use log or an R-type pre and post, and I'll start there. And as we progress through the cycle, if I'm wanting to drive more fullness or more food, I'll start plugging it with other meals. But if I have someone that, their peak off season, I'll kind of slowly transition the things out to kind of make it a little bit more gradually, a more gradual shift, like with their training and everything holding up in the gym. So I'll initially cut that test, like I said, 150, 200. Growth hormone, I might pull down from like 8 to 4 to 6. And then I'll keep the insulin in for maybe the first 2 to 4 weeks. And then from there, I might pull the growth hormone back to 2 to 3 and then pull the insulins out. Like 4 weeks in or so.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. All right, let's do one more question. I'm gonna try to pick a good one. I guess that's a good one since the Olympia was. Do you guys think Hadi should be suspended, or let's say any kind of punishment? Let's say that. We could start with let's start with Zayd.
Oh, okay. You're gonna get me killed one day, bro.
Wait for it.
Iran is watching.
I really hate disrespect. I really do. And just looking at what last year's response from Derek to Hadi, I think he should be suspended for a year at least, because that was not. I understand he's a champion of Iran and all that, but it's still not okay what you did, because of the simple fact of what happened last year. If this wasn't the case of last year, I would kind of get it, But the guy was very good to you, and he's your teammate, so you kind of disrespected him a lot, And even I was looking at the video today. Brandon was trying to bring him back onto the photo, and he just wouldn't listen. So your actions have consequences, and you can be feeling whatever type of way towards the defeat, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But probably you're the first champion who did that, and I think he needs to pay, at least suspend him for one more year. Yeah.
Say goodbye to your Instagram, Zay. I
don't give a fuck, man. We'll fight them all. Give him. Bro.
I should have walked off the stage when Joe won the USA. That should have been like, fuck this.
That's actually very awesome. Awesome that you mentioned that. I was competing against Joe, dude, and I'm a fucking immigrant just like him. And I wanted the title of Mr. USA so fucking bad. Mm-hmm. I did so many things to be in a position to win that, and my good friend won it. The first thing I said to him, I hugged him and I told him, congratulations, bro, you fucking earned this. That was my first response to him. So I'm not just saying that. I was kind of in a similar position, but obviously the Mr. USA is not the same. But to me, where I come from and what I've done to get to that point, it was also a dream to me to coming true, and I was inches away from literally getting that bigger trophy, you know. And look how
Trophy
I
sucks.
behaved.
Ship breaks.
And we had the best talk. We had the best talk afterwards, you know, all backstage, Joe and I. And we're cool, man. I understand. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, and take it by grace and show me what you got the next time you come on stage.
Man, I wanted to steal Joe's damn trophy. No, it's not.
Fuck you, Joe.
That's what I got as my damn screensaver, my Joe's trophy. No. Let's go to Joe. You think Hadi should be suspended or punched in the stomach?
No. It does suck that he did that, but he brings too much hype to the Olympia, especially being the former winner. Like I don't think it was okay, but I don't think it was enough for a suspension. Simply because he didn't walk off right away. He did take like 2 pictures and said he even shook Derek's hand, everything. Like I said, it doesn't make it right that he did, but no, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think if he would have walked off before taking any pictures, like, and not even
that would have been a different story. Yeah,
I think he would have been suspended already. I think he would have been suspended. They might have taken his damn trophy away from him at that point.
Yeah.
If he would have just once they called the name walk off, damn, that would have been crazy.
Did not finish. Did not finish.
I think now it more so puts the IFBB in a position to use that as an example. That if that does happen, then that's what they'll enforce. But I think that one, it's kind of like, what are they going to do? They didn't say you can't do that.
They would have said something already.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If they don't punish him in some sort of way, this will continue to happen, and it will be just fine. That's the idea. If you say no to this now, no one would ever do it again.
I think the way that they punish people, they don't do it in the open. They just put you at the back of the pack.
He's gonna be fourth place. He's not gonna be second place again.
I mean, they have a perfectly good way of sending a message. Yeah. And that kind of contributes to like the fear aspect amongst athletes. Why do we not speak up when we see like placings and bullshit that we disagree with?
Careful this, dude.
We know, yeah. You like
take it easy.
Anyone who sticks their head up is going to get the first one to get their head cut off. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it's like how Cam said. I mean, unless it's in their contract, like, hey, you have to take X amount of photos afterwards. Like, they can't technically do anything. They can, but now going forward, they can put something in the Olympic contract that's going to say, like, hey, however they type it up, like, hey, take your picture. Sportsmanlike conduct. If not, you'll get punished, whether it's a fine or suspension.
Be a fine.
Yeah,
I think
really fuck some people. Start fining bodybuilders. Oh.
Exactly. I think Stu said it best. I think we all know there's a silent rule in there. Don't do some bullshit because you ain't gonna win. Don't do some bullshit.
If he had a chance of winning in the future, that's probably gone now.
Yeah,
like I said, Rami went from first to fifth because he didn't go to a guest post.
I think all of us on that stage, amateurs and pros all included, I think we all know that if we do some shit or walk off a stage or yell or do something, we could probably kiss that win goodbye. I think everybody kind of knows that. I think even Hadi has to know that. I think he's probably regretting it. Knowing
it's kind of crazy. He couldn't wait 30 more seconds, like literally 30 more seconds. Just one more fucking picture and just gone. Like, you have so much control of yourself throughout prep. How could you not have control moments after? You should be a master of your willpower and how you behave, especially as a Mr. Olympia. All eyes are on you 24/7. Like, I don't get it. It really
don't even do it for us. Like, we don't matter to him. Do it for yourself and your family, because you doing that, you're putting yourself in a position where you're not going to win again. So, like, forget us. Like, we can do whatever. Like, he doesn't owe us anything. He kind of does, but he doesn't, you know, but he owes it to himself to make sure he puts himself in position to be able to win that trophy. Yeah. But he may not even place. I don't think he'll place top 3 ever again, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm sure that looks good for Nick and Samson. I'm surprised because knowing Hani, I feel like Hani would definitely make him make an apology to the IFBB NPC in public, not just closed doors. Unless Hani told him and he didn't do it, I don't know. I feel like Hani doesn't play that kind of shit. So let's see. But it's already too late. He didn't apologize. So he apologized to Iran, but not IFBB. So what you think, Paul, about suspension?
I don't think suspension is the answer for that. I mean, he acted on pure emotion. I mean, was it right? No, it was wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, what's done is done. Like it's over. I mean,
Yeah,
we're still talking about it. It's not going to change anything.
yeah.
IFBB ain't going to do anything about it.
I don't
But
think they're going to be
he ain't
suspending
going to face
because
top three no more though.
nobody's suspending him because they're losing money if they suspend him.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's what I was
They're
saying.
going to use it as hype too. The next year, Howdy's there. Who's going to come up? Who's going to come out on top? So that's going to be the hype for next year.
Yeah. I mean, man, if they suspend him, they're going to need to add extra security at the venue next year because that's not gonna go well. It's not gonna go over very well. I mean, they're gonna be upset. They're gonna be upset. I mean, I don't think he'll place top 3. If he places outside of the top 5, then I don't think that's gonna go well neither. So if you guys come, if they announce him outside of the top 5, start going for the exit. Start heading for the exit. Don't sit around to watch the end of that one. Who else? Did you go, Brandon?
I gave my 2 cents, but like I said, I don't think a suspension is going to happen, or if that is the answer, or a fine. Because, like I said, there's no way, there's nothing in the contract saying, "Hey, you can't do that." It's just we know, like, you shouldn't do that shit, and like next year his placing is probably going to be affected for that decision. He probably regrets it, obviously, right now, all the backlash and shit he's getting. But what's done is done. So the IFBB, like, it'll be made clear that was not a good idea. But I don't see like a suspension or even a fine this year unless they put something in contracts next year that says, hey, something along the lines of, hey, act right, sportsmanship. If not, you're going to be penalized.
You wouldn't even think that needs to be said, right? You would think,
but now it does. So
yeah. Did everybody get 2 cents? Everybody went. Cameron, you went. I think you went.
Yeah.
So my 2 cents, I think they should ban him from all the rest of the Olympias.
They're not gonna lose that much money. They ain't gonna.
No, hell no. Honestly, bro. Listen, I feel like it was a dumb move, but yeah, he wasn't thinking. Obviously, right? Emotions got the best of him. I think we all can get emotional sometimes, especially if you on fucking a bunch of AIs and shit. I don't think any of us are like upset with him as a person. Like we understand the emotion, so we're not saying don't be emotional. We're saying you can be emotional, just wait 30 fucking seconds and wait until you're backstage and then fucking throw the trophy at Derek or fucking body slam Derek if you want to. Punch him if you want to. But you can't do it on stage, right? Shit, Flex and Derek got into it. Did you watch the podcast? They got into it backstage, almost got into a fight. They had to be broken up. But that was backstage. So we didn't see Flex on stage and Derek fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's emotions. I get it, but you got to keep that off the stage. And like I said, don't do it for us. Do it for yourself because you want to be able to come back to the stage and be able to fight for the title. So I just think it was a bad move. I think he's already got punishment enough because not everybody, but a lot of people are maybe lost respect for him or upset at him, and I'm sure he's getting a lot of that. And he's probably never going to place top 3 again. So I think that's punishment enough. I think that's more than enough, actually. So I think that's fine. Like Joe said. Now, if they would have announced the winner and he walked off the stage then, without taking any picks, I think you got to give him a did not finish at that point. You got to put him, last place at that point. You know what I'm saying? Just because you can't do that shit, But he hugged him. I guess he took maybe 2 photos, and then he bounced. Fuck it. I think we'll be fine without those photos. We don't need to see the most muscular. We don't got to see that one. So I think he's fine. All right, gentlemen. What we went on? You want to do? I think we good on questions. That's about 2 hours. And Stu looking hungry.
You need to eat. Yeah,
Stu looking hungry. Zayd is looking tired because his test is low, probably.
Pretty low, bro. Pretty low for sure.
And you guys.
This is my last day on 2 IUs of GH, though. So
yeah, bro.
Dude, you look massive on TRT. What the
already,
fuck?
Yeah, he's already massive. You know. And me and Joe are on the same schedule, so I didn't get my blood work back, bro. I got it done Tuesday. They still haven't sent it back to me. I hope they didn't send that shit to the fucking ER. Like, what the fuck is it? I'm gonna get a phone call. They're gonna be like, "Come to fucking ICU." No, but if I get it Monday, then I'll probably start Monday. But I might start anyways. I might just
let the games begin. You know,
yeah, fuck the blood work. I'm gonna just start and then look at Hey, it's gonna be the same shit. It's gonna be the ALT, AST is gonna be a little questionable. Creatinine is gonna be fine. Maybe pushing the boundaries, but still within range. Come on, we know what it's gonna look like. The hematocrit is gonna be the same shit every time. Okay, so not a big
good enough to start.
Good enough.
Probably gonna be okay.
Good enough.
Just barely within range. Come on, man. It's within range. We good to go, baby.
It's a green light, baby.
Hey, you said it best. It's off, but it's not that off.
Yeah, come on. I didn't lose no weight. All I need is that some of that roundness back. I'm good to go, man. It's really all about the food. Let's be real. It's just an eating contest at this point, anyways. So you just gotta eat, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Have a good day, you guys.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks
of course.
All right, go eat your food, man.
Yes, sir.
Take some tests today.
Yeah, February 1st.